Masked Singer UK is finally back with their third season, and I think the third season is a very important point in a version of the Masked Singer. We saw the American version expand to a much larger cast, the Australian version branched out with more creative and original masks, and now we see Masked Singer UK 3. Who greenlit these costumes? And that's not even an insult. Most of these costumes are totally awesome. They're just so crazy, which I should be one to talk because these days the American version has some pretty nuts ideas. But seriously, some of these costumes I would have never even dreamed of in 1,000 years. And because of that, this is probably the season I'm looking forward to the most. So let's rank these wild and fun costumes, shall we? Now, every season of every version of this show has to have a worst costume. It's only rational that there would be one weak link among the cast, even if all the costumes were excellent. But Chandelier, this one drops far below the expectations I'd have even for a bad mask. This is, by far, the worst looking costume I've ever seen on any version of this show. Even when I first heard that there was going to be a Chandelier costume, I was skeptical of how that would look. And it was even worse than I pictured in my head. This costume is literally just some strings on a morph suit with a model boat on top of the head. I don't know what's up with that. This is really the only bad costume on this season. It's really just up from here. Now, I'm not sure I understand the design for this mask. I mean, they definitely conveyed the poodle aesthetic, I guess. The color scheme seems a little questionable, and some of the textures and patterns are sort of hard to look at, but anything looks great compared to the Chandelier. I would say that the US poodle is better, but then again, our poodle lacks some color that this costume delivers in droves. So it's just kind of an costume, and everything else from here is great. I know I said that for the last one, but I'm being honest this time. I will be honest that the firework did take some getting used to. At first, I had no idea what the costume was. Even Joey Contino thought it was a koosh ball, which I don't blame him. I can definitely see where he was going with that. But on further inspection of this mask, it is easier to see that this is a firework, what with the detailing, with like the little sparks shooting everywhere, and just some of the other textures on the rest of the costume's body. And what I think is interesting about this costume is that it doesn't have a face, which isn't something we see every day on The Masked Singer, so this is a very bizarre mask, but it's kind of cool. For probably the most basic and normal looking costume of this season, this is a pretty neat mask. I mean, I love the color and the design choices they made with the clothes, and the idea is a great one. It doesn't feel too much like the leopard that the US did a while back, and I get the feeling that this mask is gonna be a powerhouse in the competition this year. This may not be the best mushroom costume we've seen on any of the Masked Singer versions, but it's still a remarkable mask. I love how they use the grass and the roots as the skirt, and they seem to use a different species of mushroom than the one we got back in the States. I also think having most of the face covered by the mushroom cap is a unique and well-executed idea. I honestly think what ruined this costume for me is the mushroom that we had in Season 4 in the US version. There's just no topping it, and I think had that costume never existed, then I think I would appreciate the UK's mushroom even more. I think this is where from here on in this list, all the costumes are just awesome. Starting with the Rock Hopper Penguin, or apparently now that there's been a little bit more promotional stuff for this season, we find out that this mask is just called Rock Hopper, and is a huge improvement from the American show's Penguin. Excellent, well done. We didn't set the bar that high. I'll be honest. Our Penguin sucked. At least in looks. I mean, it didn't do that well in competition either. But every aspect of this costume is well thought out. I like how they designed the head of the costume like a macaroni penguin. I believe that's what it is. They could have just aimed for a generic penguin, and it still would have looked good. And I think a Rock Hopper might actually be a specific breed of penguin. I probably should have looked that up before doing this video. And I think the idea that they went for a more specific penguin was even better. Now, I think this is probably the best looking costume this season in terms of beauty. Everything about this costume is designed perfectly, especially the mask itself and the sort of stingers or fins on the back. Once again, I'm no marine biologist, so I don't really know what all those things are, but this is another costume that I just have a feeling could go really far in the show, and one I'm very excited to see compete. Another thing I want to give a shout out to is, like, it's not easy making fish costumes. I feel like that's, like, a thing I've said, like, I'm just saying that, like, I don't know personally from experience, because I'm not Marina Toybina or, like, any of the other, like, costume designers. So I don't know what it's like to make those costumes, but I have a feeling that making fish costumes is really difficult, just because fish don't have legs, and it's hard to make. You know, like the orca costume, for example, the flippers, or like the fins just kind of went out in the back. and stuff like that. So or with even the hammerhead shark from Masked Dancer looked a little bit, like it might have been a little bit difficult to make. So when you can perfectly execute a fish costume, like perfect. And this is what they did with lionfish. Once again, this panda definitely trumps the version that the US got. There's something about this panda's outfit that I think is just absolutely adorable. I think the Boy Scout sort of feel goes really well with this mask. I think this costume could really be a fan favorite this season. The costume also kind of reminds me a lot of Piglet from the US version, just with like the size of the costume and like the hat. Like, comment below if you see that too. There's just something about just the shaping of this costume and the kind of similar like aesthetic or nature of it that very much so reminds me of Piglet. I don't think you're living if you don't absolutely love this costume. It's just so irresistible. For the longest time, I struggled to imagine what a donut costume would look like, just because, a big round, like, object with like a hole in the middle. How do you like make a costume that looks like that? Well, this is it, and it will never be better than this. I'm 100% convinced that no country, no version of Masked Singer will ever make a donuts costume that's better than this. Instead of having it just be one donut, they designed it to look like several donuts stacked up on top of each other, which in my opinion is genius. It might seem fairly simple, but it's genius. Its arms are donuts, its jaws are donuts, even its eyes are donuts. I mean, you already know that this donut's gonna be fun to watch. Sorry, but I never thought I would see this costume. I just didn't, but like, it makes sense. When the US had a Robopine, it was some sort of porcupine cyborg thing, which looked great. But this is literally just Bugs Bunny in one of those power loaders from Alien. This costume is just insane, and I love it. It's got to be one of the biggest costumes ever, at least from like, from like face value, and the attention to detail is amazing. I love what the effort and the just everything that they put into the bunny and like at the helm, I guess. It reminds me a lot of Baby Alien for that reason, and the little, I don't know if they're like greenhouses or like gardening areas with the carrots on his shoulders. It's an ingenious touch. I have a feeling this costume is going to be making waves this season, and I'm definitely excited to see what this one looks like. Bagpipes! I never thought that this could be a costume either. I mean, but they nailed this one, too. This may be one of the most impressive translations from an inanimate object to a mask, let alone one that could seem to be very hard to translate into a mask. I love how the designers incorporated all of the parts of the bagpipe into this costume. And when you think about it, it's just the perfect costume to have on the show. Because, like, the bagpipe is a musical instrument very important to British culture, specifically, like, Scottish music. But, like, I'm pretty sure, like, bagpipes are, like, all over Great Britain, too. I think they're probably used in, like, Ireland and in Britain, like, England as well. It's brilliant. I don't even know what else to say. Now, if you told me that they would have a traffic cone on this season, honestly, I would probably believe you, but I would not have high hopes for the looks of this mask. Not at all. I think it would look like trash, but they absolutely nailed it. And I don't know if it's the mustache or like, but I will say that this was one of the closest first impression rankings I've ever done when it comes to the top three. Like, these top three could probably interchange by the day, but for now I'm putting Traffic Cone at number one because look at him. This is legendary. Again, a traffic cone seems like an object that would look way too weird as a mask. And all they had to do was add a face and a mustache, and this costume is ready to rock. I mean, I don't think this costume will make it that far, but who cares? This costume is a hoot, and it's definitely the funniest costume the show has ever had. And also, I want to reiterate that usually when I make these videos, I always make some dumb comment like, oh, well, this mask is not going to last long. Or like, oh, well, this mask looks like, they're going to make it to the finale. Like, looks... Like in real life, looks can be deceiving. If you may recall in my first impressions of Masked Singer Australia 3, I said that Mullet probably wouldn't make it that far because, like, look at it. And he ended up almost winning the whole thing, coming in, like, third, I think. So you never truly know the fate of a mask just by its appearance. So there you go. Season 3, and the masks are absolutely crazy, and I cannot wait. I'm gonna try to watch it to the best of my ability. I don't get the channel that it's on because I don't live in the UK, but I will, I'll track it to the same level that I tracked the last season. And, yeah, it's, we're coming up on the end of season 3 of this channel. I can't believe, it's already been, like, well, it'll be like 2.5 years because the end of season 3 on this channel. I don't know how many more videos I will be making. I still, like I explained way back, I have scripts for the Cook Islands video on the back burner, and I've kind of slowed down watching Survivor Fiji, so I think I'll be able to catch up, and timing won't be a big problem with that. I don't know when I'm pretty sure I've slated I've pretty much officially slated the Cook Islands videos for a season 4 release, so probably sometime in like January, maybe February, if I get like really bogged down with schoolwork or extracurricular stuff or just these videos themselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm done making videos this season in 2021. There's this, and I still have to write scripts for to wrap, because Masked Singer 6 just ended, so I will probably do a performance ranking of that. That probably will be what I do first. I'm not sure, but then that probably will be what I do first, because when I do my Survivor 41 cast ranking, that'll be a 3-parter because there were 3 tribes. So those are just stuff to kind of look out. I haven't started even writing scripts for those, but I'll probably put those first before the Cook Islands videos anyways, because, yeah. But anyways, look out for those. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.